Growing up in the Bronx, one of the most important lessons you learn is that if you count somebody else's money, you might find yourself in a lot of trouble. And if you're a business counting someone else's money, there's an excellent chance you'll find yourself out of business. But that was the 1980s in New York City. Flash forward all these years later, here I am in Guimarães, Portugal. And my money's being counted by the local football club. My name is Howie. This is Positively Portugal. Let's get into it. Vitória Sport Club has some campaign going against counterfeit football merchandise. There's an article on their website. There are signs throughout the stadium saying only buy Vitória gear directly through Vitória. Don't go to any counterfeiter. And in theory, that's a great idea. Make sure that Vitória gets some money out of that. Yeah, buy it directly from them. The thing is, nobody is living in theory. We live in reality. We deal with our personal finances on a daily basis. Now, Vitória, I am paying you. As a socio, I am paying you. Every socio is. For me, it was 40 euros to get the whole thing started. It was 15 euros to select my seat. And it's 13 euros every month to keep this thing going. Now, sure, there are things I get. I get tickets to the games. My 13 euros includes every single Primera Liga game. And they've been great on the games that it doesn't include, like Taça games, and some European games were as low as 5 euros. There was one that was going for 15, but still very reasonable. I'm not trying to paint Vitória as the bad guy here. They do things for their fans. But in the 11 games that I've seen here in Guimarães, not once have I seen a person go into the Vitória store and buy this season's shirt, or jersey as they would call it in the United States. You know why? Because the regular price is 95 euros. And I got this information directly from Vitória's website. I also got that from the websites of other football clubs that we're going to talk about. But Vitória charges 95 euros, which is ridiculous. As someone who has an American salary, I'm still not spending 95 euros. And the thing that Vitória doesn't think of, or any club that would be against counterfeiting doesn't think of, well, even if there was no such thing as counterfeit merchandise, I'm still not going to buy that for 95 euros. I don't think anybody with half a brain in their head is going to. That's not to say that it hasn't happened this season. All I'm saying is, in the 11 times that I've been to the stadium, I haven't seen it. And it makes me wonder, do the big three have this problem? I have never seen any other football club go on any kind of a campaign against counterfeit merchandise. And I really don't like the word counterfeit because, as we're going to talk about, you can find counterfeit merchandise that is every bit as good or better than the original. Counterfeit has like an undertone that you would think is low quality. And sometimes that's the case. That's not always the case. I looked at the websites of Benfica, Sporting, Porto, Braga, and Famalicão as well. The regular price of this season's Benfica shirt is 100 euros. And that's just ridiculous. I mean, isn't Benfica supposed to be the people's club there in Lisbon? 100 euros? Sporting, slightly more reasonable at 95, the same price as Vitória. Sporting has had a little something called success. So I don't think Vitória should be charging the same amount as Sporting. But that's not really all entirely up to the club. So Benfica uses Adidas. I just wanted to throw that out there. I had forgot. I'd already moved on. Sporting uses Nike. And Vitória uses Macron. If you go over to Porto, their regular season price is 90 euros. Why is Porto cheaper than Vitória? Now, Porto uses New Balance. New Balance, Macron, you would think that they're kind of like on a level playing field. Difference 5 euros. Now we come to the interesting part. Braga was charging 80 euros for their shirt this season. Braga uses Puma, which is the same manufacturer that Famalicão is using. But Famalicão was only charging 65 euros. Now, every single one of these shirts is now being sold at a discounted price because the season is almost over. So I'm just talking about what the regular price was throughout the course of the season and when it first began. Vitória talks about counterfeit merchandise like it's a widespread issue. But after 5 months in Guimarães, I can only think of 2 places where you can get counterfeit merchandise. One would be the Facebook Marketplace, which is where I got one of my shirts. And the other would be the Friday morning market that they have. And I will admit, I've seen some pretty nasty counterfeit stuff there. Stuff I would never buy, even though the prices were like 10, 12, 15 euros. You also see some high quality stuff at that market. But the first Vitória shirt that I bought was this season's away shirt. Now, hold this up here. Now, if you're looking at this from a distance, it's a nice shirt. If you're looking at it close up, you see this stupid looking design within the material of the shirt. Now, Macron's but football gear has looked ridiculous in recent years. It really has, and this is no exception. But I did not get this from the Vitória store. I got this from some guy on the Facebook Marketplace. It was 25 euros. And the material is actually very thick. The material of this shirt that would be considered counterfeit is thicker and of a higher quality than the 2 shirts that I have actually gotten from Vitória. So I have no regrets in spending 25 euros as opposed to 95. And I actually could have gotten the home shirt for 20 euros. But with this weird looking design that you have within the material of the shirt, you can get away with it when it's in black, but you can't get away with it when it's in white. This year's Vitória home shirt looks absolutely ridiculous. It has that stupid design, and it has like an overbearing collar, which I can't see how that's comfortable. I've never been the type to wear a polo shirt. So, yeah, I could have gotten that for 20 euros as opposed to 95. I mean, who wouldn't do that? Who would choose to spend 75 euros more when you're in a country that, hey, the average salary is only 23,000 euros. So for Vitória to count someone else's money when you have all these socios who are paying them monthly, no, that's not okay. But I also got 2 other shirts from Vitória. And the reason I got it from Vitória is because they weren't charging 95 euros for it. A month or so ago, probably a couple of months now, they re-released this shirt from the 2008-09 season. And I like it. It's got black, white, blue, but it also has on it this. One of their legends, Jeremel, who I've been told is the best defender that Vitória ever had. I don't know if that's true. I'm just telling you what I'm told. But it was 50 euros, and because I'm a socio, I got a 10% discount, so it was only 45. I thought that was a hell of a deal, so I got it. Then, at the last game against Benfica a couple days ago, I got this. It's the goalkeeper shirt, or one of the goalkeeper shirts, from the Centennial season 2 years ago. And try to do this here. It's got a little bit of green in it. And again, this Macron shirt with a weird design there, not even hiding it in the material, just a weird design in general, but it's mostly black, and I thought it worked pretty well. I wanted to get something from the Centennial season. So it was 48 euros, and for this one, they would not honor my socio discount. They said it was a clearance price. So you mean to tell me that anyone could have just walked in off the street and gotten it at the same price as me? Well, you know what? Okay, what's fair is fair, fair market. But if you're going to tell socios that, hey, we're going to give you 10% off merchandise, honor it on everything. Make me feel important, Vitória, okay? Because watching you play against Benfica, I didn't feel very important. So this should have cost me $43.20. Instead, I paid the full 48. The funniest thing that happened about that was the clerk in the store, he puts it in a bag and proceeds to charge me 20 cents for the bag without even asking me if I want the bag. And I didn't. So, I just took the shirt, put it on, and, there we go. But, you're charging people, you're not even asking them if they want an item, and then you're making your socio discount selective. So, I'm not happy with the money counting going on at Vitória. So, Vitória, if you want to count people's money, I'm going to ask you to do the right thing. I'm going to ask you to do the honorable thing and get rid of Macron. Go work out a deal with Puma, just like Braga and Famalicão have, because Braga and Famalicão are charging their fans less. I'm guessing that has something to do with Puma being a little more reasonable. And what strikes me as interesting also is Famalicão charging 65 euros as opposed to Vitória charging 95. Yeah, Vitória is a bigger club than Famalicão. Guimarães is a bigger city than Vila Nova de Famalicão, but it's not that much bigger. The population of Guimarães is approximately 157,000. The population of Vila Nova de Famalicão is approximately 134,000. That's a difference of only 23,000 people. So, although as a football club, Vitória is massive compared to Famalicão, the cities are pretty comparable in terms of population. Now, the other thing that Famalicão has going on there is that their stadium only has 5,186 seats, as opposed to the Dom Afonso Henriques here in Guimarães that has 30,000. So you can get a little under 6 times the amount of fans in there for a Vitória game as opposed to a Famalicão game. And even with that lesser amount of revenue coming in, Famalicão has still figured out that if you charge less for your merchandise, not make it a bargain basement thing, but if you make it somewhat reasonable, you'll probably have more shirt sales. And the proof in that is if you go to the Facebook Marketplace, type in Famalicão. You can't find any Famalicão shirts being sold. So again, necessity is the mother of invention. There's a counterfeit thing or a small counterfeit thing going on in Guimarães because there has to be. There's a market for it. It's just like with music. You know why MP3s got big? Because people were done paying $18 for a CD. And MP3s really aren't much of a thing anymore. Of course, they're streaming, but, and this would have happened anyway. It's not like you would have stopped that technology, but you would have delayed it for a few years. So, again, just because someone is selling counterfeit stuff doesn't mean I'm not going to look for them. But on the other hand, if there was no counterfeit, again, Vitória, I still wouldn't buy a shirt for 95 euros. ¿De qué lado estás? Whose side are you on? That's what the sign in the stadium reads. So, Vitória, I'm a socio. I'm a fan. I have a great time at the games. I cheer my ass off in the stadium. When Vitória plays away, I cheer my ass off at the bar. But I'm not on your side. Nobody is. I'm on my own side. If I can save 70 to 75 euros on a shirt, I'm going to. And that's final. There's no room for debate on that. And the truth is, you're not going to stop the counterfeiting. Because again, it's needed. So if you want more videos about moving to Portugal, the process of getting here, Portuguese football, anything Portugal related, please like the video, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications. These are the best things you can do to help a content creator on YouTube. I want to thank you all for watching. And make no mistake about it, Forza Vitória.